Welcome to Behind the Mic with AudioFile magazine, where you always have great suggestions for your next audiobook. I'm Michele Cobb, and we're celebrating AudioFile selections for the best audiobooks of 2024. And today we're talking about biography and memoir. And I have a very special guest, Golden Voice narrator Dion Graham. We'll get to him shortly, but let's kick off with the full list of audiophile selections for best audiobooks in biography and memoir. Bits and Pieces, written and read by Whoopi Goldberg. Bitter Crop by Paul Alexander, read by Maya Days. John Lewis by David Greenberg, read by David Sadzin. Profiles in Mental Health Courage by Patrick J. Kennedy and Stephen Fried, read by Johnny Heller with the author. What I Ate in 1 Year, written and read by Stanley Tucci. And Three Shades of Blue, Miles Davis, John Coltrane, Bill Evans, and the Lost Empire of Cool by James Kaplan, read by our guest today, Dion Graham. Welcome, Dion.
Hey, Michelle. Thanks so much for having me.
Well, congratulations on having not one, but actually two of this year's best audiobooks. You're also named on Dangerous Visions, which is one of the best multi voiced audiobook selections.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'm so pleased. That's great.
Now, this audiobook actually traces the lives of three of the jazz greats, Miles Davis, John Coltrane, and Bill Evans. But it turns out you have narrated a number of audiobooks like this, including a biography of Miles. I'm curious, when you're reading a biography, what type of research do you have to do?
Well, first of all, I like to find out as much as I can about the person, and of course, the book does a great job of filling all that in when you're getting ready to narrate it. But also, there are things that are really interesting as well. And in a musical biography, or I should say, a biography of a musician, there are great resources. For instance, with Miles, and also with this book, there were great resources to go to on the internet, just to hear them talking about their work, to hear them talking, to see performances of theirs, and of course, I definitely take advantage of that. I was a fan. I am a fan of both Miles Davis, John Coltrane, and Bill Evans. So I just really tried to immerse myself in their work and went back to kind of blue, and also just for the sake of it, just to take the ride on their work and their lives. So, I'm not shy about, just immersing myself in what they've shared with us.
So, did you listen to no other music besides jazz for a few weeks?
No, not exactly, but I did really immerse myself in listening to Bill Evans, in particular because I hadn't listened to Bill's work in a while, and Coltrane, who was a favorite of mine. The book is really, really interesting and in depth about going through his journey, as well as Bill Evans' journey, as well as Miles's journey, which I was a little more familiar with, having narrated Miles's autobiography. But yeah, I was taking a wonderfully evocative ride on these three.
I'm curious, what were the biggest challenges when you were recording this particular piece, which dealt with three lives?
I would say just making sure that the story that that James Kaplan has told about the making of Kind of Blue and about their lives and their work was just making sure that we were connecting all the dots as he's written them and all the stuff that's in between, the interstices actually, between all of them, so that the listener is really in the room with them and also tracking as their lives are interweaving in and out with each other too. It's a really interesting, really interesting journey because there were times when people fell out with each other, and then there were times when people fell back into, and it's just really interesting to see how the tapestry all wove together. And it wasn't an insurmountable challenge; it was a great challenge, but it was a lot of fun.
Is there anything special that you took away from this recording?
Besides being transported back to a time and place when they were in their prime and in their heyday, making the music, and living their lives. I've also been thinking about just how entrenched their lives are in their music as well. I'm not saying that their music was just about their lives, but I'm saying that what was going on with them at particular times definitely had influence in the type of music that they were making, the ideas that they were having, as well as, of course, what was in the air, in the culture, in our society at that time as well. But also just how their journey affected how they made the music and how they made the music together. It's just been really interesting to just to ruminate on that, and just to think about these luminaries who shine bright for the time that they were really doing it. And it stayed with me. It stayed with me because it was really great to find out more about who they were, where they came from, and how they responded to the things that happened to them as well. Of course, there were so many things that were going on in our culture at that time, but also so many things going on in their lives, from you know stardom to insecurity to confidence at times, and also to you know problems with drugs and just the pride in what they were doing as well. Really, just all really interesting. So that was a lot, but all that is up in there. What can I tell you?
Well, it made for a great listen, so thank you. And thanks for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me, Michelle. It's always great to be with you.
We've been talking with Dion Graham about Three Shades of Blue by James Kaplan. And if you've enjoyed today's episode, please come back tomorrow for more Best of the Year narrator chats. Our full Best of the Year audiobooks list is available at audiofilemagazine.com. I'm Michele Cobb. Thanks for listening.
Today's episode of Behind the Mic is brought to you by Pay the Piper, a terrifying supernatural horror set in a Louisiana bayou. It's narrated by Sophie Amos, and it's written by legendary director George Romero and author Daniel Kraus. Audible says it's one of the best of the year. That's Pay the Piper.